We live, we live, we live, we live. Thank you everybody for joining us. This is Dynasty Mirror Search for a Guru. And I have our sister all the way in Sacramento, my hometown, Sagtown. I don't know if
Hey,
you guys know, but I grew up off of 21st and Florin. I went to Christian Brothers High School. So I am definitely a Sacramento native, born and raised. So we
okay.
have the sister. In fact, guys, so I know O'Shea talks about Bouillon. I don't know if you guys, the people who listen to O'Shea, I know O'Shea talks about Bouillon, the infamous Bouillon.
The infamous.
Infamous Bouillon. So we all know Bouillon, and Lady Yanga was actually introduced to me via Bouillon. I promise you,
Yes.
one day we gonna get Bouillon on the show. The infamous, world famous boobs, as we call them, pause. But
He
that's
is
what we call them,
awesome.
boobs. Yeah, so everybody, we have the sister Lady Yanga, and today's topic is, do African Americans suffer from a lack of world language and culture? Lady Yanga, go ahead and introduce yourself and
Hey,
tell
how you
everybody who
doing?
you are.
I am Lady Yanga. I am the president and co-founder of Yanga Sport, Yanga Culture, and we are a global warriors brand, and we sport culture. And basically, what we do, we're an advocate for unity, and also we're an advocate for language and culture. So basically, what we're doing now is going around. We live in Mexico. We're from the states, and we're teaching people about language, especially African Americans, because we lack knowledge of what's going on as far as internationally. That in order to compete globally, culturally, and linguistically, we're at a disadvantage, big time. If you go, like, if you, I don't know, you say you've been in Africa a lot. If you go to Mexico, if you go to South America, a lot of these people in these
Speak
countries
more
are
than one language. They speak like three, four languages.
they're growing up bilingually, trilingually, and here everyone that speaks English, and not just America, but everyone that speaks English usually sticks to that language because we feel like we're the dominant people and that we don't need to learn whatever else everyone else is learning because everyone wants to speak our language. And that thinking, it kills us.
Hold on, okay, Lady Yanga, are you familiar with the ADOS movement?
No, no, what is that?
American descendants of slaves.
Yes, okay, yes, yes.
Okay, so when we speak on topics like, do African Americans suffer from a lack of world language and culture, and they're in the chat room, they get offended as if we're saying that Black people have no culture. Now, somebody in the chat, so Foundational Blackness said, we have to create our own culture which controls the world, or we have to create our own language. Does Black America, do we have our own language?
No, we don't. I don't feel
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was already talking about. English is not our
it's
language.
not our language. And even if we black people speak Spanish, that's not our language as well. You know what
Right.
I mean? Because there's a big part of us who speak Spanish, of black people. But I'm really focusing more towards the African Americans because I think we're the most separated from our culture than any other culture in the world is African Americans. And I believe because I don't know if it's because we had to so-called create what we have here in America just to make it feel like more like home. But I think we're just so divided in that we feel like, okay, if you listen to TV or you listen to other people, they always tell us that Africans hate black people or African Americans. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
And so like we constantly hear that. And I remember growing up, all I used to hear when people clown, and I used to be a part of it. We used to call people, "Oh, you look African, you're hella black," or "You look like a booty scratcher," stuff like that. Like it's embedded in our DNA from birth to always tease people from our original people. It's like we never wanted to be a part of that. We always thought we were different and we were better.
And this is the thing. I agree. The only thing I agree with in regards to ADOS is that the American government has a debt owed to descendants of slaves because of the free labor that our ancestors put in to build this country. But a lot of the rhetoric I hear from ADOS is ridiculous. All right. So, but go ahead and continue, Lady Yonda.
Yeah, it's just I think we've been so brainwashed and misguided, and I don't think, and we are led to believe we suffer here in America mostly from self-victimization. And of course, you know, if you think about slavery, like we hold on to that, and I think we need to know about it. Of course, knowing about your history is very important. Like it's very important so you don't repeat it. But we cling on it, and we, instead of like creating opportunities and focusing on solution focused, you know, things to help us get over it, we dwell on it, and it keeps us back. It holds us back. So language is a big part of it. Like if we feel that we need to get ahead, why don't we do things that get ahead? Why don't we go to another country and explore, you know, what's going on in these other countries and learn about what they're learning? And why don't we get more involved in politics, or, you know, things that I see more as being brought to the light. But as far as a whole, I don't think we think like that.
Okay. Okay. So, what made you want to, I guess, start this initiative?
Okay, so I met my boyfriend now. He actually lived in Mexico for 12 years. And he introduced me to Gasper Yanga. And if you do
Yeah,
your,
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay,
yes,
okay. Gatsby
yes,
Yanga.
yes,
Okay.
he introduced me to Gasper Yanga. And instead of just talking about it, we actually went to Yanga, Veracruz in Mexico. And I learned the history through the people. And that's when I started noticing that everything that I've learned from childhood has been a lie. And it not only pissed me off in a way to where I was devastated and I was angry, but I wanted to learn more. And that's when I actually uprooted and moved to Mexico. So I
Okay.
quit my job, I did everything, and then from there it just flourished into, okay, I'm coming back with a vengeance.
Right.
So,
How you being a Black American? How was your experience in
and
Mexico?
oh man, it was amazing to learn that your people originate from Mexico as well. Was an experience that I never was taught before. We always learned that, of course, you think of Brazil, you think of Dominican Republic, Haiti, you know, you think of all these other South American countries, and we know our history stems from there, but no one ever talks about the history of Black people from Mexico, which is a neighboring country to the United States.
Mm.
So our culture is rich over there. And I learned a lot from those people. And it really sparked my interest into coming back to America and teaching it not only to our people, but as far as the Mexicans who live here as well, and in Mexico, because a lot of the Mexicans don't even understand that they're some of their heritage is from Africa. They think they're just Spaniards.
Right, but I think it's because the way, especially with these Spanish-speaking countries, the that whole caste system and how a lot of them went out of the way to whiten their countries, I think it's more of a they just completely don't want to acknowledge. They're starting to, from my understanding, but they just don't want to acknowledge the Africanity of Mexico.
Yeah, well, and what's crazy is if you see people my color, because I consider myself, you know, on the darker side, and there's people in Mexico originally from Mexico who are darker than I am, and they'll say that they're dark because of the sun, and that's it. And you're like, excuse me, like no, you have to really do your history and
Mm.
understand that, you know, Christopher Columbus wasn't the first foreigner that you call it, you know, that came to your land. So it's interesting to know and see how many people are really illiterate to their own history.
Mm. Let's see what else we got here in the chat room. Now, as far as lack of culture,
Right.
what do you mean? Can you expand on that?
Of lack of culture as far as understanding that we're all, if you do your history, you'll see that we're a unified people. You know, we always like to separate things, but we're are more all more related than we like to believe. And that's what I mean of lack of culture.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Now, many in the chat room are saying that since Black American culture, in in quotation marks, is emulated all over the planet, that that we have the dominant culture. What are your thoughts on statements like that?
We have a dominant culture as Black Americans or Black people.
Well, well, Black Americans. Because this is my thing. Is there such thing as Black American culture? Yes, but
Yes.
we don't control the distribution of it,
Right.
which is a problem. So what I see now when I'm traveling is all the dysfunctional things that are considered Black culture.
Exactly. That's what I was going to
You
say.
know, but
Yes.
but but for some reason, some in Black American society want to take that and still run with it. But it's like this is the dysfunctional stuff that's labeled Black culture.
Right. And you know what's funny that you say that? So when I was living in Mexico, and I haven't really traveled to too many other countries, so I have to use that as my only experience. And I lived there for a couple of years. I would teach English, right? And in order to make the most money in these countries, because it's a touristy area where I stayed at, that these Mexicans would have to learn English, and
Mm-hmm.
they when I taught them English, they wanted to learn native English, right? And I was like, native English? What do you mean? They wanted to learn how Black people talked to
Mm-hmm.
seem to make more money, so they can seem what's the word? Have more
Yep.
swagger, hip,
Uh-huh.
and that blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And because the way I speak, I mean, I know slang words and stuff, but for the most part, they in California they consider me, I talk like a white girl because I hate when they say that, but it's because I don't be like, I don't know, maybe I don't talk jive enough, I don't have enough anger in my voice. I don't know. I never really
Right.
understood it,
You don't speak Ebonics. You
you
don't
know.
speak Ebonics.
And so they would be like, "Well, can you get your boyfriend to talk?" Because they loved the way he talked because he sounded like the people in television or on the movies, and that it was crazy. That really blew my mind. So we really, like you said, the negative connotations that we have is what Black culture is in America is it's saddening. It's very saddening. And that's what we like to change. And I believe that I was a representative for Black people there because I kind of changed their views on how we are as a people. We're
Mm-hmm.
educated, We can hold a conversation. We don't have to talk about drugs and killing and gangster stuff, and we can hold an intelligent conversation. And I don't have to smack my lips and roll my eyes and pop my neck. And I mean, we
Right.
do all that, but it's not what we do. That's a small percentage of us Black people. So
Mm.
and maybe because I'm older, and I'm not with the hip hop culture as it is now. So, but I
Yeah, I'm
noticed
not
that,
either.
yeah, I'm not with the movement. So whatever that movement is, it's just to me it's saddening. It breaks my heart that you know we're 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 getting away from the purpose of why I believe hip hop was even brought into in existence. So
Mm. Shout
yeah.
out to everybody in the chat room. So, do you think the reason why we lack now, I guess, world language and suffer from, I guess, experiencing other cultures because we don't travel really as a people?
That's
Even though that started to change some.
right, right. I
Uh,
believe it's that, and also we are so caught up in fads and what's cool in order to be accepted that that's what we chase. So right now, instead of chasing, you know, wealth as far as knowledge for yourself, because I believe that's what wealth is. Wealth is investing in yourself and gaining knowledge, because knowledge is infinite, and that allows you to grow. And then in order to grow, that brings growing brings wealth because you're opening up so many avenues, and we don't open up them avenues because we're so narrow-minded on what is cool and what is hip that we don't focus on the bigger picture.
mhm. Guys, let's get this. Let's get these likes up. Please hit that like button as you guys come to the chat room. Eddie Thorne wants to know: are Black Mexicans discriminated against because? Yeah, are Black? I'm sure Black people over this planet are discriminated against, but how were the, I guess, native Black Mexicans treated?
Oh, it was so sad. It broke my
Mhm.
heart because um, there was no representation. If you go into the stores, just like, I mean, here in America, it's different. You'll see a select few handpicked, I call them token Black people on magazine covers, in the movies, yada, yada,
Mhm.
yada. Out there, no representation whatsoever. You're not going to see them on television. You're not going to see them holding the good jobs. You're not going to see them in the forefront. You're going to see them slaving, enslaving still to this day.
Mm.
And and like I said, if they are Black Mexicans, they don't even know, or they don't want to accept it. And it's really sad. It's really sad. But like, if we don't have representation, you really can't, I don't know, blame them. I guess it's really, the people that are in charge there. Actually, my boyfriend played international basketball. That's how we ended up, living in Mexico. And he played for one of the um, presidents of he was a mayor or whatever they call it in the city that we played in.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I'm like, where's your Black representation? And he's like, oh, no, we have it. Like, everybody wants to be like you guys.
Oh, wow.
What? I was like, what does that mean? But he didn't want to talk about it, and they told me to, cool my jets. But, I wanted to know. Like, I need some understanding. Like, this is not going to happen. How can I change that? What can I do? I'm asking questions, but you have to be careful. You have to tread lightly out there. It's not like you don't have the freedom you have in America out there.
Yeah, everybody wants to be Black, but they don't want to be Black.
Say that again, especially when it hits hard, man. You gotta stand up for something you believe in, and if it's do or die, man, they gon' shy away.
See what else we got here in the chat room. So, I mean, what's the importance of, I guess, especially with Black people? Because again, the first time I went to Africa, I went to Tanzania, and like we said, everybody spoke at least 3 languages.
Right.
Why don't we see the need to speak more than one language? And I'm struggling. I need to, work on it as well myself. But why don't we find value in speaking more than one language?
Before I answer that, let me just tell everyone, if you like to learn more languages, you can join me on Duolingo, and I'll go ahead and send you my link, and I can help you with that. I'm a brand ambassador.
Do me a favor. Send it to me so I can put it in the chat room too.
Yeah. All right. How do I do that?
Email it to me. Email it to me.
Okay, I'll do that in a second.
Yeah, email it to me and I'll put it in here.
Okay, cool. I think what was the question again? I'm sorry, I just lost it.
Why don't we find value in learning, more languages?
Because we don't study. We don't look for knowledge. It's right in front of our face, but we don't seek it. And if you were to pay attention, if you can go on Fortune 500, you can go on Forbes, you can go on all these things, Instagram, all this stuff has that knowledge right there. But these people we as Black people choose to follow naked women, booty shaking, Cardi B's, all these other people. The knowledge is right there. We don't see it. We don't want it. That's why. It's not going to be thrown at you. This stuff is important and it'll get you ahead in life. And people don't give you that type of knowledge for free. They give you
free.
Yeah, they give you the filler stuff. And when I say free, not monetary. Sometimes it takes your time. It takes your effort. It takes consistency. That stuff gains everything that you're looking for. Knowledge is the key to everything that you're looking for. And understanding that will get you so far ahead. So I think that's why we don't see the value in that. I'm gonna go back to it. It's not cool. It's not cool.
Yeah, like somebody said, we don't find value in it. Shout out to straight shooter Willie Beeman.
We don't find value in what?
In learning more than one language.
Right. And when you think of it, doing my research, if you look at Fortune 500, most of those companies are owned by foreigners. And when you think of a company being owned and they're looking for someone to help run the company, if they're owned by foreigners and people who speak other languages besides English, who are they going to hire to help keep the company running and growing? Are they going to hire English speakers or somebody who's more culturally diverse in order to speak to people in multiple languages?
Mm-hmm.
They're not us. Because we in order to build your corporate culture, you need to understand, and you can't separate language and culture. They go hand in hand. And so I don't think we're really paying attention to what's happening to our economy as far as language and culture goes.
Explain that.
Like I said, these countries are being run by foreigners. Half of these countries that are in the Fortune 500 are owned by foreigners who speak multiple languages and different languages, and who rather hire people of their culture to be part of their company and help run these companies. And we're not focusing on that. And it's not. It's if we learn these languages, if you go to another country, say I'll say for Africa, for instance, if you're looking, you can go for vacation, right? You can sit at the resort, or you can go to explore the culture, be a part of it, try to learn something. They gravitate towards you, towards that. They don't shy away. They see that as a sign of respect. Am I wrong?
No, no.
And I think we don't understand that, and so it opens opportunities for that. They're looking for people to come there. Like you can learn to speak. You can go to another country and get a job teaching English. But at the same time, if you learn that language, you can probably start a company in that country. You can,
Right.
it's not just America that's flourishing off of entrepreneurship. It's the whole
Right.
world.
Which brings me, so somebody in the chat, NDR 1981, thank you for joining us. He says, Blacks don't think, act, or want to complete globally.
Blacks don't think of what?
Blacks don't think, act, or Black Americans don't speak, act, or don't want to complete globally.
I no, I think they really do. If you look at the hip hop culture, a lot of okay. If you go back to the '90s artists, or I'll say, yeah, the '90s and the 2000 artists, they're making their money overseas right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Most of them are going overseas making their money. But these newer generation kids are not seeing that. And I'm not blaming it on social media, but I'm blaming it on them not seeking the knowledge as to how we can open the gateway for us to complete globally. It's not that they don't know, it's just they're not willing to open up their eyes, and they want that quick gratification, and it's not going to happen like that. This is takes consistency and hard work. We don't believe in that anymore. We believe in that microwave, what is that microwave theory, done in 5 minutes.
All right.
No, that's not it. That's not it.
See what else we got here in the shout out to Cassandra Sellers. Thank you for joining us. Everyone, thank you for joining us. Please hit that like button as you come into the chat room. Please hit that like
Yeah, and
button.
I don't know where my picture went, but it's gone.
I don't know either. I was just about to ask that. Maybe you hit the you turn your camera off. You think it's like a camera icon.
Oh, I hit it on accident. There we go. This is my first time on here. But yeah, it's saddening. But I think that if we have more people speaking up, and representation matters. If we have more people speaking on it, and Duolingo is actually a free application to learn any language you want.
What languages do you know? Speak Spanish?
I only speak Spanish. I speak Spanish and English, and I just start learning Spanish. I'll say it took me a year, but I'm a year in, and my next language I'm debating on either Mandarin, which is very, very hard, or I'm thinking about either sign language, and that's American Sign Language though, because there's a need out here for that, and also Braille, because I know a few people who would benefit off of learning Braille, and I heard Braille is not that hard to learn. And they said once you know Spanish, all Portuguese, Italian, French, those other languages will come
similar.
They're
similar.
Yeah. So I'm about 50. I say 50% fluent. I can always, since I left, and I'm not constantly around it. You lose some of it, but we're going.
What do you mean? You're in California. What do you mean you're not constantly around it? You're in California.
Well, people here, and that's another thing. They say they call it the third generation curse of Mexican speakers, or Spanish speakers, I should say. I'm sorry. That by the time they come here from their country, by the third generation loses the language.
Oh wow.
They don't want to speak it because it's not beneficial.
Oh wow.
Yes. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy. Somebody says you sound West African.
I sound West African.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
What does that sound
yeah. I
like?
don't know what that. I don't know what that means. Yeah, what does West African mean? So many countries in West Africa.
Yeah, that's the first.
Yeah. I don't know what that. I don't know what that means. But guys, let's get these likes up. So, uh, more on Mexico. So, what do you think Black Mexicans need to do to make themselves more visible?
Wow. I wasn't out there long enough to really get a good understanding. But what I did see is that they're very shy people, very traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just believe that they need to start believing in themselves. Self mastery is at an all time high right now. People learning about the power of investing in yourself, learning
Right.
about yourself and the power that you have within, that you come from greatness. That's not out there yet. That's where I wanted to begin, actually, is to teaching them the value of self and learning that you don't need to look for an outside source to help you manifest your greatness. It has to start from within. And I think them not understanding that is the key. Is the key. They don't have any type of self worth, and I think that's where they lack it. And not
Okay.
just, and I'm just saying, this is just, I'm not a professional. This is just from personal experience. And I traveled the whole country, actually. I've been more places, I've been more states in Mexico than I've been in my own country. And I've seen it from the cities all the way to the countrysides, to the jungles, to the Caribbean. And it was the same all across the board, from my experience. A beautiful place, though. A beautiful people, a humble people, a hardworking people, but just a lot of lack of self.
Shout out to Street Genius for the super chat. He says, I already speak 3 languages, and I know a lot of other Black Americans that speak multiple languages. She is speaking all truths. Many are already learning. I think, and I told him, I responded, you're in the 1%. What are your thoughts?
I believe you. I think he's in the 1%.
Yeah, you're in the 1%. Trust me.
I ask a lot of people. I constantly. I'm always advocating on social media to, like, come join me, come talk with me. And it's not popular yet. It's not cool enough. So it's like I'm losing a lot of people. But I'm gonna continue doing what I do because I'm new to this. Like I said, I only speak, you know, fluently one language, but I'm on my second language, and I believe by the time this year ends, I'm going to, speak a second language. And I know other Black people as well, but we're still an exception to the rule. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely 1%.
We got to stop doing that. And I love my Black folks, but we have to do better. There's no other way around it.
Now, Gasper Yanga, where do they really celebrate him in Mexico at all, or is he just kind of?
And that's crazy. So he is a liberator of Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
He is known as the liberator of the first free Americas, basically, in Mexico. They have a town named after him called Gasper Yanga, where he has a statue.
Mm-hmm.
And in that place, they have a festival every single year, Festival de Negritud in Yanga, the first week of August. But it's not international. It's not throughout the whole country. It's just in a little town. So, and a lot of people still there don't even know about him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But some of them, and have you heard of Oaxaca?
I have, yeah.
Yes, Oaxaca is very a huge place for a lot of Black Mexicans. If you go there, they don't really celebrate him there that I knew about, but they're of the darker people. Veracruz, and Yanga, where we went. But yeah, Yanga specifically celebrates him, and people from all over the world go there just to see that statue.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now Mexico's like second president was Black too, right? Did they?
Yes.
How they feel?
Yes.
What was his name?
Oh, Fernando. I forgot. But yes, he was Black.
How do they feel about him?
They don't talk about him.
Wow.
I feel like when I was just told this the other day. Someone told me that when I speak with people and I tell them that
Vicente Guerrero.
Vicente, yes, that's it. When they I was just told this, that when I speak about Black people, that I have to be cautious about talking about we originate from everywhere, because people get offended.
No, what do you mean originate from everywhere?
Um, that Black people are in every parts of the world. We originate in every parts of the world. We're not
Mm-hmm.
just from Africa, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And when you speak, when you explain that to them, they say they get offended. So someone told me that I need to watch what I say, because I offend people.
Why?
I he just told me that, and then my response was, but it's my opinion and it's my truth, and I'm not trying to debate it with anyone. I'm just saying, if they research their facts and their history, they'll see that in most parts of the world, people are of darker color that originate from these countries. That's all I'm saying. And so they kind of
Okay,
get it.
when you say people of darker color, do you mean African origins or like what?
I think a little of both. A little of both. Did they do their research? I believe when I looked up the origin of man, and you see that they say Ethiopia was the first sign of human life, which is in Africa. And then from there, we kind of spread out. Um, and that I think when you look at the pyramids and how they line up, and that you heard of the Olmecs, like in
Mm,
Mexico, they were Africans. And I'm just saying, like, if you'll see that we are not just, you know, in one location in the world. Like, we originate from everywhere.
mm. So do you believe like the Olmecs were black?
I'm sorry.
The Olmecs,
Yes, I do. I do.
like
Um,
African black or like
yes,
like
yes, yes, yes. And I believe that they taught people of Mexico how to uh, learn how to write and communicate through literature. I believe that they taught them all that stuff. They taught them about astrology. They taught them about, how they talk about the Mayan calendar. I believe that was brought forth through the Olmecs. And this is just my personal opinion from just stuff
Mhm.
that I learned, just reading. I'm not too big on quoting people and stuff like that. It's just my own personal belief, my faith, I would say.
Mhm.
So
Oh, you gotta tell us a story how you met Bubion.
so through our company, we are a sports brand. Like I said, we sport culture, and we
Hmm.
go to a lot of South American countries, and we play tournament basketball. And
Hmm.
we bring Americans from America to South America and Mexico to play in these tournaments to win cash prizes. And my boyfriend has known Boubion since he was younger. You might know him, Antoine Sutton.
I gotta see him. Yeah, I don't. I gotta
Yeah,
see him. Did
yeah.
he go to Did he go to Grant?
He went. I don't think he went to Grant. He went to Jesuit.
Okay. What year did he graduate from Jesuit?
Ooh, you getting me? Don't give me the lion.
Is he Bubion's age?
Yes, they're around the same age.
Okay,
Yes.
because I went to Christian Brothers, so we probably played him, but he played I don't think he played football, but if he played basketball,
He played
then
basketball, yes. And
yeah.
so Boubion, played basketball. So he asked Boubion to join us. And he was in the group of Americans that we took there to play tournament ball. And that's how Boubion traveled with us to Mexico and got the real culture. Boubion
Hmm.
is Boubion is fearless. He
Oh
is
yeah.
fearless. He is very open. He is an example of what a lot of people should look up to as far as learning other people and being accepting of whatever it is. So yes, awesome guy. And my boyfriend Antoine Sutton, we call him Yanga. He's bilingual. He speaks Spanish fluently. Matter of
Okay.
fact, they always think that he's Dominican or something. It's so funny that you can't be American and speak
Oh man,
multiple
you definitely don't
languages.
want to be Dominican.
Yeah, but they always say, like, why can't he be just American and speak multiple languages? That's how you know it's not common,
Hmm.
you know. So
Yeah, definitely
yes,
don't want to. I don't know those Black Dominicans. They be cooning it up. So
they
definitely
do.
don't.
And I've met a lot living in, because we lived in Cancun for a while too. And so Cancun is like, how can I explain it? It's like the how San Francisco is to the tech world.
Mhm.
Cancun is like that to the tourist world for a lot of South Americans to come there and make money. So
Okay.
yes, so you're meeting people from all over South America who come there to work as waiters and stuff like that, tourist guides, da 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 da, and they look at me like they're not even part of me. They were like they're not black. That's how they were looking at me. Like you go to speak to them, and they're like, I'm not your kind. That's what blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but you're black.
Right.
How do you not know this? No, I'm not. I'm from Venezuela. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but when you say black, they think African. And so I think a lot of them don't want to be associated with Africa.
But why?
It's self-hate, and the way the media paints Africa. That's why.
They do. Yeah, you think Africa is poor and there's just a whole bunch of people running around and titties out and they got spears, chopping down animals. Like that's all you think. You think of poverty and you think of sick people and HIV and where they try to say it originated from there. Like all these bad things. That's all we see constantly. And
Mm-hmm.
you speak from people who live there. I know a lot of actually in San Jose, in the Bay Area where I'm from, Oakland, there's a lot of Ethiopian culture, Eritrean culture, a lot of Nigerian culture. And if you sit and speak with these people, you do not hear that. It's the complete opposite. And I think that's probably what they see on TV as well, like in Mexico and why, or in Venezuela or wherever they're from, and how black people or how Africa is. So
right. Let's see what else we got here in the chat room. Again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Please hit that like button as you come into the chat room. We would greatly appreciate it. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, just like I said, I've said this before, but okay, let me ask you this. There are some people who are offended by saying that African Americans suffer from a lack of world language or culture. How would you respond to those who are offended by this, by you saying this?
Go ahead and ask 10 people that you don't know how many languages they speak.
Or they have a passport. It's another one.
What'd you say?
Or they have a passport. That's another one.
Actually, not just Black Americans, but Americans in general are the least to travel internationally.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not just talking about African Americans. Americans in general are the least to travel internationally. They believe that their country is just fine enough for them to travel within their country. If you look at your research, and you'll see that. And when you do travel, and I'm not talking about in Africa or even Africa, if you travel out of your country, the United States, you don't see a lot of Black people unless they're going to party.
True.
So this is what I see. Like I said, it's only my personal experience. And what irritates me the most, living in the Caribbean, you see these Black people come from New York or wherever. They spend so much money on their clothes and their hair and their jewelry just to drink and spend it on alcohol. It's your choice.
Well, hair that's not really their hair, but it's
Yeah, exactly. They don't even get in the water. They don't even explore the different adventures that are open to them. They won't go. They don't want to be in the sun. They hide from the sun. Like, this is the honest to God truth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not playing with. They have cake full of makeup on, and it's mainly only the Black people that I see from the United States.
Right. They go all the way to the beach just to walk around, not get in the water, because they don't want to mess up the hair that's not even their real hair.
Yes, in the Caribbean, this is a beautiful blue waters, all types of different tropical life. You can go to the Mayan temples. You can go to just explore the culture, and they don't want to do it. There's places called cenotes that you can go to out there, and it's beautiful. It's a little bit of hike. They don't come prepared for that. They got high heels and flip-flops on, and whatever else they wear, and they wearing their Gucci and their Prada and whatever. They ain't trying to get that messed up. They got their Jordans on. Why are you coming to a tropical place with sand and you wearing your Jordans. Like, come on.
Right. Right.
I'm sorry. That's just my personal opinion. It just boggles my mind. I'm like, oh my, maybe I'm just old. I don't know what it is. I don't get it.
No. I don't get it either. I completely understand. While walking on the beach in the sand in J's, I've seen that too.
Like,
Yeah.
are you
But
serious?
hey,
We actually went on a hike, and it was to a beautiful cave. We were in a small village, and they call the villages pueblas, right? We were in and this dude had on his Jordans, and they didn't know that we were going to go on a hike. He destroyed his shoes. And the only good thing about that came out of him wearing his Jordans and that he destroyed his shoes, he decided to give it to a young kid who came to watch him play basketball. That was beautiful. I mean, I thought that was cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the only good thing that came out of it. But I'm like, why would you bring that type of stuff here? Don't wear tons of jewelry. These people are very poor. I don't even think we understand what poor is until we see these third world countries.
Grim Jean, go ahead and say, Grim Green, go ahead and say what you have to say. I will hold my tongue. I have nothing good to say. I respect Dinus. Go ahead and say what you have to say, Grim Jean. Then we'll close out. But where can people find you again? Did you email me your link?
I didn't do it yet. I can do it right now.
Yeah, if you can do it right now, so I can put it in the chat room.
Yeah. Let's see. And this is my personal opinion, and I'm gonna speak my mind and I speak my truth because that's how I live my freedom. That's what it is. I'm sending you my email. You said? I mean, not my email. My
No, where they can reach you, so I can put it in the chat room.
Okay, I'll give all this stuff. And I'm a big advocate of unity and unification, and I think we as Black people need to learn how to learn other cultures and other languages. And what's crazy is, and this is what I noticed, other races study us.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
We don't study other races. Name someone who study other races. Name 5 people in your clique to study other races. I could just keep it that simple.
Right.
I'm just putting it out there. The truth is the truth. They study us, and that's why they have an advantage.
Oh, let's see here. I'm just waiting for you to send the email.
I'm coming right now. That's my website. They can reach me at IG on Lady Yanga _ and I have a podcast called The Hut with Lady Yanga. I'm just a free spirit living a free life in this effed up world.
Right.
All right, there we go. Sent that to you. We're on the Hangout. I'm back. All
right, let's see here.
Speak your mind, guys. Please tell me whatever. I'm not afraid.
Got it. Let me put this in the chat room. But Miss Yanga, Lady Young, anything else you'd like to share in closing before we close out?
Just be open to people's opinions. You don't have to agree with it. Be open to change. We need to execute to evolve as a human race, basically. Don't be offended by things that people experience because everyone's journey is going to take a different path. But at the same time, we all meet towards the end at the same place. Mm-hmm. And if you don't learn how to speak your truth and really gain knowledge, because knowledge is infinite, we're going to be left behind. Ooh. So, freedom manifested through the struggle, man. We're all struggling through something, and let it not be language and culture because it's right there for us. That's what I agree.
I agree. Well, Lady Yanga, thank you so much for joining us. I'm putting your information in the chat room again.
I really appreciate the invite, man.
Anytime. Let me know. I mean, since you know Boobion, we family.
Hey, I like that. See,
you know Kyle too.
I don't know Kyle. I'm from the Bay Area. I don't know too many people from Sacramento. So yeah, Boobion, he's a free spirit, and I think I believe in the law of attraction, and that's why I ended up connecting with him. So with like-minded spirits, so that's how it is. And see,
well, I won't be back to Sac till probably around Thanksgiving or Christmas. So if you're in town,
okay, definitely. Thank you again.
That's not be back, no problem. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go to search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Who. Peace.
Peace. Lady Yanga.